Hello, hello, hello. This is Lois Kofi here. Super excited to be here with you on my new series of Work from Home Wednesday. I apologize. I had some technical errors there, so you probably saw me looking at the screen with a funny look on my face. But here we are, learning new technology. I'm a living testimony that you can learn new things. You can teach an older dog new tricks as I'm in my 40s and really have seen a lot of shifts and a lot of changes. And I decided, in light of everything that's happened over the last 30 days, not just in my life, but in this global economy and this global health crisis that we've all emerged into and are experiencing. And as we all have been forced to, maybe not everyone, maybe you're watching this and you aren't working from home. If you do know someone that's working from home right now and struggling with that, you may want to share this broadcast with them. I am streaming live on my fan page. I am streaming live on YouTube as well. So there will be a recording that you can have and experience together. So again, my name is Lois Kofi, and I'm living here in Southern California. You should be able to have the ability to comment and share, and if you have any questions, you can hold those questions for later. I'm going to go for about 40 minutes, give or take, and just have the ability to pour into you, just to have a real conversation with you guys right here, right now, about what I've been experiencing, and also the deja vu that this is for me. I don't know about you, from the Great Recession. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. You're going to want to take notes. So if you have the ability to take some notes, and again, you can, if you want to do, comment on here and you want to say, I'm here and where you're calling in from. Awesome. Good to see you too, Tracy. I can see your guys' comments. So feel free, if you want to say where you're from, please do. And if you're watching this replay, of course, you know the drill probably by now, hashtag replay. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully you can see it. If you can comment and let me know, that would be amazing. I love using StreamYard, and then there's always those things that I'm still learning, using my own experience. You should be able to see my screen right now, but again, if you can even text me, if you have my phone number, or comment and just let me know if you can't see the screen. So today we're going to be, talking about how to ultimately work from home successfully. So we want you to be able to pivot during this time. That's my goal for you. And to ultimately, I want to know, what do you need today? What do you want to create in the next 40 to 45 minutes? So I am going to open it up for Q&A. My goal today is, of course, to not waste your time. My goal today is to inspire, educate, and empower you with all that is going on right now, all of these uncertain times. So again, take notes and we'll have Q&A at the end. I also want to, as we go through this process, you may not know this about me, but I was a college professor. I'm a professional speaker. I've done a lot of work, both as an attendee and a speaker. And I always want people to have this mindset. What will you, and of course, what will I take forward today? How are you going to take action today on what I'm teaching you? And of course, I am going to share with you, with all of you at the end, on how you can work with me in an ongoing way that will be transformative as well. So really quickly, for a lot of you, I don't know if you know my story, but I was very, very successful in sales. I had the fortune to get into sales right at the age of 22. I fell into real estate. Fortunately, I didn't know anything about real estate. However, I hired a coach and I had a mentor right out of the gate. Thanks, Julie. I'm so glad you could see my screen. So I did really, really well. I was honored, privileged, humbled to have great mentors and coaches in my life. So I was able to make 6 figures right out of the gate at a very young age. By the age of 25, I became a sales trainer in my real estate offices. I had a lot of people from all walks of life, all ages, all backgrounds and experiences, always asking for some support and guidance. And I did that for free. And I always thought, you know what, if you can, find a way to get paid for what you do for free, you're living a good life. And so I actually started doing more training. I recruited a sales team. I started training them. I had a mortgage company. I had a real estate investment company. I had business partners. I had a full-time staff, salaried employees. And then the world changed, like boom, like that. Overnight, I lost everything. And it really wasn't overnight. It was probably more like 6 months. But I literally lost everything. I was fortunate enough to sell my home so I could have some cash. And literally, if I would have sold it maybe 2 or 3 months later, it would have sat on the market and not gone anywhere. The market dried up. I had not one, not two, but 3 foreclosures. My business partner had a death in the family, and she left town, and I was there with all of the creditors and the vultures coming after me. And I got to the point where I didn't have a home. I was essentially homeless. My wages were garnished. My bank account was cleaned out. And of course, as you can about imagine, I was stressed, depressed, and my health took a massive, massive hit. And I guess you could call it, I was forced to be shelter in place because I had my car repossessed. So that was fun. That was really exciting. So instead of having this mountaintop experience at age 30 where I thought I would be a millionaire, I hit rock bottom. Mentally, physically, financially, emotionally. And at that time, I was really leaning on substances like sugar and coffee to really kind of cope with what was going on within me and around me. And since I didn't have a car, I just had a bicycle, I was forced to work from home. I fortunately had found a place to stay, super, super affordable, but I didn't have much of a budget. So I had internet and I had a landline. I couldn't even afford a cell phone at the time. Okay. And so I could go on and on about the story, but the moral of the story was I went through hell and back for like 3 years. The recession happened. I discovered I wasn't alone. I thought I was crazy when it first happened because I felt like I was the only person, but then everybody followed suit. And I had to learn new skills. I had to figure out how to make money. No one was hiring. It was real estate wasn't moving, so I couldn't sell real estate. And I had this new opportunity to, as I call it, be the phoenix rising from the ashes. And through that process, I was forced to learn how to sell virtually, how to build relationships, to serve people without being face to face and belly to belly that much, because gas prices back then were massively expensive. So, and again, I didn't have a car, I had a bicycle. So you see how the similarities here and the patterns from 2006, 2007, 2008 for me are happening right now. But I got to tell you, it's happening on a much, much, much bigger scale. And I discovered at that time that everything is sales. Every conversation we have with someone is an opportunity to serve someone. And it was during that time that, and I'm going to share more of my story as we go on here. We're going to get to the coaching here right in a second. But I bounced back because of a lot of the things that I'm going to teach you today. And my hope is that, again, my story and being real and vulnerable and being transparent, and hopefully you relate. And hopefully there's something that you can take away from this. But the key thing was I didn't give up. I learned new disciplines. I learned new skills. I worked with coaches. I worked with mentors. And of course, I had to also radically transform my health. So it really took me about 5 years to recover from that. The phoenix rising from the ashes, it was about 2011. My hope today for you is that no matter where you're at, maybe you're doing great, everything's good. But you want to be ahead of the curve, just like they're talking about with the coronavirus. You want to be thinking ahead and thinking, how can I future proof myself from something like this happening again? Because we all want to do that, right? I was fortunate. If you see on my photo here, I have a picture of my family farm, which we just sold a couple years ago because my father passed away, and I really learned a good work ethic. And I know right now, and what I experienced myself in the recession, it wasn't easy to go from going to the office every day to being sequestered at home. And that was thankfully before I had kids. Now I have kids on top of that, as you can see, my beautiful family. And it took a lot of effort. So I'm coming today from experience, coming today from wisdom and application, and also coming today from hope. I really want to give you hope and encouragement, because if I could overcome what I did, and it was ugly, it was so ugly and dark and stuff at times. My hope is that you'll be able to bounce back from this quickly. So the reality is, just like 2006, 2007, 2008, and some people still, it spilled over 09, 10. For me, it was about a 5-year journey. We're headed into a 2 to 3 year recession right now. And I don't know the updated numbers for today, but yesterday they said there's 22 million plus unemployed. So we're pushing toward 20% of unemployment. So just like me in the 08 time frame, I couldn't get a job. So I had to learn new skills. I had to get ready and prepare myself for the future. I had to pivot. And that's what I want to share with you today. And if anybody wants these slides, you can comment below or message me, and I'll email these to you guys later as well. So these are some great tips right here on how to get ready for a recession. Right now, it's not even so much about how to get ready for this recession, but it's how to be ready every single time. And a lot of you probably do a lot of this stuff already. But I wanted to share with you just 4 things today that can help you work from home with ease or with more success. And of course, help you make some money. Because again, no matter where you're at right now, maybe you're fine, you're comfortable, maybe you lost your job, maybe this has totally radically changed you. So I know there's a whole gamut of different people here today, but you want to be able to monetize new skills during this time and repurpose it for the future. So number 1, this is the tip of the day that might resonate the most with some of you, is how are you building your mindset daily? I know we've all heard this, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, all of the greats, all of the coaches. I have 2 coaches now, by the way, to help me with my mindset, to keep me moving forward. But always just checking in. How am I showing up today? What am I thinking about? And a lot of times your feelings and your emotions can actually tell you a lot about what's going on inside of you. There's a saying, and I don't know if you've ever read there's many books by Louise Hay. She said, thoughts are things and things can be changed. Thoughts are things and things can be changed. If your mindset's not in the right headspace, no matter what you do, that's going to be impacted by what's going on in here. So another saying is, to think is to create. I was so fortunate that even though I was freaking out, I was traumatized, I was going through a lot of fear and anxiety, my health was challenged, I asked for help. That was one of the biggest lessons I learned. I had to ask for help. I had to humble myself and say, I'm freaking out right now. I can't do this alone. I was to the point where I had such bad depression, anxiety. I was even having suicidal thoughts, you guys. I had a friend who committed suicide during that time too. And I was like, dude, I totally get it. I want to lift your spirits by helping you, find the tools that you need to build that mindset daily. So if you even want to share, comment below, what are you doing right now that is your mindset daily? Because it's our attitude that is going to either propel us forward or it's going to pull us down. And I didn't shift very quickly. That's why it took me 5 years to overcome what happened to me in 2006, 2007. So if I could go back and talk to myself like I'm talking to you now, I would say pivot and shift as quickly as you can. Have your moment. I could call it a pity party. Have your moment, but then catapult yourself forward. Take some action. So part of the mindset is build your belief first thing every day. You know, when you wake up, if you've read the book, The Miracle Morning, I could recommend books all day long to you. That one was, you know, not published for a really long time after the recession. You know, I had Think and Grow Rich. I had other things, but I always woke up. I kept getting up at 5 a.m. I didn't even own a TV. So thankfully, I didn't fuel my mind with any news, any drama. Facebook was barely born back then. So you know how social media can suck you in. So the first thing is wake up. Don't touch your phone unless your phone has a podcast on it or, you know, whatever. I even take my apps. I take Facebook off, Messenger off at a certain point in the evening. So I don't go there. Right. I don't want to see what social media is saying. I don't want to be pulled in. And of course, turning the TV off or not turning it even on. And the first thing in the morning, you have your meditation, you have your reading, you have your affirmations, you have your prayer, you have your whatever your routine is. Don't stop with that. Even if you don't have to get up at the same time you used to, I would encourage you to maintain the same habits. And instead of having to drive somewhere, maybe now you're using that time to fuel your mind. Another exercise is to write out your vision. You know, what is your vision? That comes from your heart, you know, and your head, and being in alignment with that is so important. I consider this actually a really exciting time for you to dream again. Maybe you've been on the hamster wheel, the rat race of life, just going through the motions, and you've lost sight of your dreams. You know, even if maybe you have a vision board, but you've been so busy in the doing that you haven't really connected with that. So if you can write out a vision, and if you want to write it out first thing in the morning, I even recorded it on my phone and my voice memo. So not only do I write it, I'm also hearing it. And if you can do it once, that's perfect. I don't want to throw too much on you, like, oh my gosh, now I'm overwhelmed. I have all these things to do. But even if you can just take one nugget away from this, writing down your vision every day and connecting at it, looking at that vision board, whatever the case may be, this is a nice time to really just ask yourself, what do I truly want? And meditate on that. Whatever your connection is to yourself and source, universe, higher power, God, whatever that is for you, I respect all things because trust me, I've been through a lot. So I've learned the hard way that it's important to respect where people are at and meet them where they're at. But ask yourself, what do you truly, truly want? So once you've got that vision written out, once you've got that mindset, belief building every day to the best of your ability, you know, we can all have off days, and be kind to yourself. Okay. Give yourself grace, give yourself mercy and forgiveness. It's all good. But right now is a great time to listen to, you know, the trends, you know, listen to, you know, what industries are growing, what industries aren't. This is going to be important for you as you reinvent yourself. If you even need to, listen to podcasts, listen to your friends, see what everybody's doing right now and checking in and form relationships. So I'm going to give you an acronym that I use. This is used in sales, but this is also used if you're just trying to figure out what's your next step. I use this ever since I was 22, and it's a great way to build trust and rapport with prospects. Because I'm speaking to your business side, but I'm also speaking to your relation side as you're, you know, going through this process. It's really important to connect with others. Listen to what's going on in their life and be open to share and really be, you know, open to making those connections. And with Form, if I can get this, there we go. You can connect with people online with this. You can also get people offline with this. So you're going to want to write down this acronym, and maybe you've heard it before. But as you're building these new tools, as you're building these new ideas, as you're trying to figure out how to work from home, and you're like, what do I say to people? How do I be? How do I do? Use this. So the F stands for family. Checking in with people every day is so important for our health, our mental health, and our emotional health. Ask them, how's your family doing? You know, that's key, because we're all sheltered in place. A lot of us are spending way more time with our family. For a lot of us, to me, that's a really awesome thing. For some, that's not so great, right? Then ask them, you know, how's your work? How's everything going? You know, occupation is what the O stands for. How is your career going? That's a big deal right now. When we have 22 million people laid off, you know, really connecting with where they're at with that, and maybe giving them some tools, sharing with them this webinar, something that can inspire them to start a new business, create new things, reinvent themselves, write down their vision. A lot of it has to do with our occupation. Our purpose in life is usually, not always, usually shared through our occupation. It's that way universally for a lot of people. And if now they're without that, that's pretty traumatic. So listen, check in. R is kind of a bittersweet one right now. You know, how recreation, you know, what is their favorite thing to do? Talking about positive things, focusing on that. Don't just stay down on focusing on COVID and all that kind of stuff. But what do they like to do for fun? And are they thinking about ways they can do that creatively now? Are they thinking about ways they can go out and do that and set goals for the future? You know, we've definitely got to keep having goals, and I could talk a lot about goals today too. It's not really much of what I'm going to talk about, but being able to dream and have goals for the future and finding creative ways. I've seen a lot of different people on TikTok and on YouTube and on Facebook, and everybody's trying to, you know, work out from home, or they're, you know, dreaming about doing different things or creating. And that could be their new recreation, is how can they create right now? And really challenging them to get creative. That's also part of recreation in this current shelter in place time. And then of course you got the M. What is their mission in life? Their purpose. You could also put a D in there, and that stands for dreams. You know, what are their dreams? What do they want to accomplish? And as you form that relationship, I'll give you an example. I connected with a guy online. I'd never met him before. And I met him on another webinar, and we had a great conversation. We were just trying to see how we can connect, how we can help each other. Usually in those first connections, I don't expect anything. I'm all about, let's just connect, let's listen. I take notes. I always ask permission. Is it okay if I take notes? Because I'd love to find a way to help you. And before you know it, we were having a very in-depth conversation about mental health and depression and just different things. And it inspired a lot more personal conversation than professional, but we connected in ways that I often don't even connect with some of my own friends and family. And we were able to give each other some leads. We were able to help build each other's networks a little bit. And it was so encouraging, and it gave me ideas. I gave him ideas, and we were ideating together. And I just really encourage you to connect and maybe set a goal. How many people are you going to talk to a day? Like 5 a day, 2, 1. Again, you pick your number. You know your limitations, but just really having that connection with other people and forming those relationships right now is key. When I was going through the recession, I was just connecting with people, and it was crazy because I was so open, because I was looking for ideas, looking for new connections. I created a business partnership out of it, which turned into an online telecourse, which is a monetization once you create, when I created the telecourse, because this was before Zoom, before StreamYard, before all these things, we had Skype, but I didn't really understand Skype back then. I did call recordings. We recorded a whole 33-hour course that I still sell to this day. It ended up being a college course because of another relationship I had with someone at Concordia University in Irvine. And I proposed an idea for an MBA level course, and they said yes. I don't even have a master's degree. And here I was teaching this master's level course. So it's by making those relationships, forming and coming from the heart and listening, ideas were born. Some of the best, most profitable businesses came from the Great Depression and even the Great Recession. So step number 3, again, I'm going over 4 today. I'm hope to be wrapping up here in like the next 8 minutes. And then I'll share with you an ongoing program that I'm going to be offering for $25 a month, and then open up Q&A. You can just fire away. So we do know that, and economists have told us this. I've talked to some gurus and experts that I know in the financial realm and then in other areas economically, and we do know there's a recession. We don't know exactly what our new normal is going to be like. So instead of just waiting and sitting around and just kind of, I'm just going to wait and see approach, no, take advantage of this extra time. Like, I learned how to use StreamYard. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna start that podcast that I've been so afraid to start. I'm gonna learn new skills now that will be able to be monetized for the rest of my life. And it's a great time when you have your vision and your mindset and you build those relationships. What are you creating? What is your message? And can you build an audience right now? Building an audience means just creating influence, creating a bigger network, casting a net, and finding those relationships that you could have for the rest of your life that maybe without this pandemic, you wouldn't have been seeking out. And then how are you going to connect with your audience? If you can start putting a plan together, Rome wasn't built in a day, we know that. But since we have about 2 years, 2021, 2022 for sure, that we're going to have this recession and things will be different, and we don't know when we're going to go back out to networking meetings and face-to-face selling and all that, it's a great time to tap in and learn a new skill. So on my next slide, if I can get there, here are just some ideas. And again, don't do all of these. You'll lose your mind. You also want to use a lot of time to reflect and maybe you could pick my brain on what's going to be best for you. Check in with other colleagues and other people, maybe in your network, your industry. I know we have some health and wellness people on here. We have some healers that joined us today, some other professional speakers. But I would for sure encourage you, if you don't already have one, get a CRM. That's a client relationship manager. It's online instead of, note cards, Rolodexes way back in the day. That's how I started. But even when I started in real estate back at about 23, 24 is when I got my first CRM. So I've built a network of over 10,000 people because I started a long time ago. I wish I still had the same CRM that I started with. Ended up losing it in the recession and all that kind of stuff. But now everything's pretty much internet based. There's HubSpot, there's Constant Contact, there's MailChimp. I use one. I actually have a couple, and if anybody wants any, support, I can share that with you. Being able to start creating a following and building an audience, you can have a YouTube channel. You can have a Facebook fan page. That's one of the things I'm streaming live on today. You can use things like StreamYard or Zoom. Again, back in the day, I didn't know what I was doing. We didn't have Zoom. We just did conference calls and we recorded stuff. You could even do that. You can blog. I started a blog back in the day. I still have it today. I can still monetize my blog 12 years later. You can publish ebooks. You can join affiliate programs. If you don't know what that is, Google it. But I have an affiliate program. I've signed up for a bunch of other affiliate programs just to be able to have multiple streams of income, and be able to promote joint venture with other people who I believe in. Of course, you want to believe in affiliates that you're signing up for. Even some CRMs have affiliate programs, by the way. StreamYard actually has an affiliate. Oh, by the way, if anybody wants to check StreamYard out for free, I can hook you up. Just send me a message. But those are just examples of creative ways to build. You could even have your own affiliate program someday. You can start a podcast. If you're not on LinkedIn or Instagram, that's what IG stands for. Maybe you could start leveraging one of those. There's unlimited options, you guys, but just pick one or two things right now that you want to focus on. Laser beam. Don't just say, I'll try this and find another thing and, throw spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks. Really, really reflect. And if you have any questions about that, I can give you some more guidance, but definitely learning that, because if you create it once, just like I said, 12 years ago, I created a telecourse audios that turned into 33 hours and is now a product that I can still sell to this day. And I monetized it for several years after the recession. Ebooks, all of those things are there forever. Last, number 4, as I wrap it up here, is you want to, and I referenced this earlier, you want to be able to be a master steward of your time and, of course, your energy. There's actually no such thing as time management. It's time use. I actually I read the book, The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran. He's an amazing speaker, trainer, and now author. And he put together how do you get done more in 12 weeks than the average person does in 12 months. And so I'd really encourage you to read that book. We're all given the same 24 hours in a day, you guys. But how is it that more people get done than you or I do? Or there's always people that get so much done. You're like, do they sleep? I've had that, for better or for worse. I have had that where people ask me, Lois, do you sleep? And I'm like, I'm just really efficient with my time. And, just prioritizing, just for sake of time, I could share this with you, but I use something I call daily compass. I write out my day on paper. Jim Rohn, one of the best speakers and sales trainers of all time, he's no longer with us on this earth, but he always said, when do you start a week or a day? You start it when it's finished on paper. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of always using my Google Calendar or using my phone calendar, because what happens to you if your internet doesn't work or your phone is dead or, whatever. And there's something about writing it out, pen to paper or pencil to paper, that sticks. It's like in your cells, and you don't go ADD, because when you check your phone calendar, you get all these notifications, and you got to learn to also set boundaries. Setting boundaries is critical. And again, if you can stick to a schedule, that was one of the best things I ever did when I was starting over. I was stuck at home. I had to learn all these new things. I could have just slept in. I had no reason to get up, for better or for worse. But whatever you can do to stick with that structure and just fill it in with all these things that I've been telling you. Time block when you're going to learn that new skill. Time block when you're going to have that Zoom networking meeting. Time block when you're going to prospect or lead generate or look for new connections. So overall, just set a goal on how many hours you're going to work each day, how much time. Of course, you've got your spiritual time, your exercise, all of these things I can teach you on how to master that. And again, Rome wasn't built in a day. So even if you just took like the next 3 months or even 12 months, a lot can happen, you guys. A lot happened in that first year, my second year during the recession, And again, if I would have had all of this information back then, like I'm giving to you now, oh my gosh, I would have rebounded so much faster, so much faster. So set aside some time to learn a new skill that you can monetize, and go ahead and write that down if you haven't already. All right, so I just wanted to share with you, just so you know a little bit more about me as we finish here, and then I'm going to open it up for Q&A, and you can just post your questions, okay? You can even start commenting your questions. You can even send them to me on Facebook Messenger or text me if you don't want to put the questions publicly. This is Brian Moran. I got certified in his 12-week year concept, so I've been able to train and master my time. That's why even with my kids home, we even got them on a structure. I've got their own 12-week year going. I was prepared for this pandemic. Here's a great testimonial from one of my clients. She's been working with me for a while now, since the beginning of the year, and she was kind of in a rut for 4 years working with Juice Plus. They even have their own phenomenal training, but it was because of the tools, working from home, time management, mindset, all of the things that we talked about today, that I was able to meet her where she was at and catapult and take her business to the next level. Even right now, she's thriving because we started in January, instead of just like flat or going backwards. Because if you're not moving forward, you're going backwards. And that's the importance of having support and mentorship and coaching. This is Catherine. She's, excuse me about that. She's in Minneapolis. She's with Heartland Payment System. She's a sales manager, has her own sales team. She hadn't had a coach in a really long time. She started working with me, and she just had so much focus and clarity and had more success in her day. And so she was another great testimonial of what I've been able to do to help people. So really quickly, before I answer any questions, and I'm looking for your questions here, guys, I am giving an opportunity for people to be a part of a program that I'm starting May 1st. May 1st really could be the first day of the rest of many people's lives. We don't know what the future holds. We don't know when we're going to be released from shelter in place. There's so many unknowns, guys, and I wanted to be able to give you guys something that is of value, but it's pennies on the dollar of being able to learn from all of what I learned over the last 12 plus years, really, because even before the recession, I was starting to learn things about how to work from home, but I just wasn't really good at it. And it's just $25 a month for an online program. It includes a free one-on-one coaching session. If someone wanted to do it for 12 months, it's just $25 a month for 12 months. If someone wanted to do it forever with no end date, as long as I'm alive, I'm just doing a one-time payment of $197 upfront, and you can include a spouse or a partner, a business partner, someone in your household, even, it doesn't matter if a roommate. I'm going to teach you how to prospect, how to book appointments, and deliver sales presentations from home. I'm going to teach you how to use Zoom, go to webinar, Skype, whatever, StreamYard, whatever you decide to use. Just pick one and go for it. How to use social media and video to build your business, to create your audience, your online presence, attraction marketing. How to publish content to build a following of people. So you can publish books, you can build a podcast, you can write articles and create value. That's the most important thing. And of course, to become a master of your schedule and mindset and all of that kind of stuff as we move forward. I am going to be creating a private Facebook group, and I'm going to be doing not this, but I'm going to have a private Facebook group just for those work from home mastery people, and doing a 30-minute training and Q&A. It probably will be more like an hour because there's so much to go over, and I want to be able to answer all your questions. Of course, unlimited email or Facebook Messenger access to me, free one-on-one game planning session, and of course, whatever you create, whether you do 2 months, 6 months, 12 months, or for however long, you're going to have that content forever. I always say, I love to work myself out of a job because I know you've got greatness within inside of you, and you're going to be able to learn so much and take it moving forward. So if you want to enroll, just go ahead and text me at that number. But I'm going to go ahead and see if you guys have any questions. Oh, great question. Okay, cool. Hey, Raquel. So with the difference between, Susan has a great question. What is the difference between a coach and a mentor, and when would you need each one? Okay. So this is my definition of the differences and what I've experienced since I was 22 years of age. And actually in high school, I had a basketball coach who gave me the skills, who kept me accountable, who held me to my goals and my standards. And it was someone, I didn't pay my high school basketball coach, but as someone who was actually paid by the school to guide me to achieve a goal. A mentor was like someone when I was younger from my church who was just mentoring me more on life skills. And to be honest with you, I've always had both. Probably because I had that in school as a kid. But when I was 22 and I was in real estate, because I didn't know anything about real estate, and I was just like a deer in the headlights, like, where do I start? I hired a coach. I paid him actually $500 a month, and I was only 22. So I'm only asking for 25 on this particular program. But I paid a coach, and I had a mentor who was in my office, who was there to guide me, answer questions, and also keep me moving forward. But they weren't necessarily financially attached to me. Does that make sense? Cool. Does anybody else have any other questions? I'm actually looking at both of my apps right now, trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. That's awesome. Hey, wonderful. Thanks, guys. Does anybody else have any other questions before we sign off? Just making sure I don't miss anything. Cool. Well, again, just to let you guys know, and forgive me if I missed a question, just go ahead and contact me at my phone number, 612-708-5480. It's on the screen. If you'd like to enroll, again, it starts May 1st. And you can invite friends. You can do whatever you want. There is going to be limited space. It looks like I have another question, maybe. Right. Yes. So I started just at the top of the hour. So I did stream this on YouTube, and once I'm done, when I finish the broadcast, you should be able to start from the beginning and go all the way back to the end. Awesome, Tracy. Super excited to work with you. This will be fun. I wanted to finish with a positive motivational quote because that's just what I've been taught over the years. And just want to make sure that no matter what, I wanted you guys to get value today. So just remember, what is the one thing that you're going to take away from today and take action on? So that's just another gentle reminder. But then the let's see here. Looks like I might not be able to share my screen. Well, I'll just go ahead and read to you the quote that I was going to share with you. For some reason, it's not working. It's all about being the inspiration. So whatever you do next matters. You are inspiring people by building an audience, by creating a following, whatever you do. And my quote that I hold on to is, I want to inspire people. I want to inspire people like you who inspire people. I want someone to look at you and say, because of you, I didn't give up. So I want you to think about that. I want you to own that. I want you to be the inspiration for other people during this crazy time. And just know that I believe in you. I'm in your corner. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I wish you guys all the best of health, the best mental, physical, emotional, and of course, financial success here as we move forward. Thank you guys for taking your time to be here with me today. Bye-bye for now.